So you want me to introduce myself?
Yeah.
Everybody already knows me. Everybody already knows my name. My name is Henson Winn. I live in Navajo, Arizona. I lived here a long time, most of my life. I'm the top hand on the ranch, probably the best cowboy on the ranch. So the ranch has been in the family with my kids. Would be, I think, 5 generations, pretty sure. So my grandpa was the owner before my parents. He broke his neck when I was pretty small. I think maybe I wasn't even born yet, I don't know. So he kind of quit cowboying because he got hurt and kind of beat up. Well, he broke his neck before that too. So he's been beat up a bunch. And he cowboyed, so yeah, he had a kind of a rough life. So he quit cowboying pretty early, which is maybe too bad because probably could have learned quite a bit from him. So I am the third child of my parents. I have 2 older sisters, and then I have, what, four younger sisters and a younger brother, which my younger brother's way younger.
Ross.
Yeah, Ross. And so yeah, most of us grew up on the ranch, out working on the ranch. Learned to drive on the ranch. That's one good thing about ranch kids, is they learn to drive a pickup. Yeah, I drove a manual pickup. That's what I learned to drive. I don't remember when I started riding horses or really gathering cows. I was probably kind of, not like super young, but pretty young. I think my parents had some pretty good horses for us kids to ride. And if they didn't, we didn't know any better. I mean, now I know better. And gathering cows with my dad or with my sisters wasn't always the easiest. Maybe that's why I'm pretty, or maybe I just work better by myself. I can gather a bunch of cows now by myself, but back then, it was rough. It might be the cows too. I remember working cattle when we bring them in the pens, and we were preg checking. We preg checked a lot when I was younger. Always preg checking cattle. We sold a lot of bulls, or my dad did and my grandpa did. They sold a lot of bulls. I don't think they steered anything till they were like maybe a year. We'd go through all the bulls, and then they'd kind of look through them, and they'd scrotum test them, and we'd castrate them then. So we had a big old feast of Rocky Mountain oysters. But man, we had a lot of cattle run me up the fence when I was little. Now there's like none. My kids don't even know, like that when a cow runs at you, you're supposed to run up the fence. I don't even know what my kids would do. But it was like normal to me. It was like, okay, cow's running after me, run up the fence. And then run it down the alley or just whatever we were doing. Yeah, it was pretty normal. I think the cows back there were a little bit more wild. We had beef masters, but we had a lot. My grandpa had a lot of cattle though. So that might be why. But I think my dad started weeding them out. The cattle that were kind of mean. Oh, I went to school in Sanders. There's from kindergarten to 12th grade. So yeah, in my graduating class, I'm pretty sure I was the only white boy. There was some half, but so yeah, I thought I was Navajo till I graduated, and then I had to go out in the real world, and you had to put your ethnicity on like your college, because I went to college for a little bit, and they'd say, "You're not Native American." I'm like, the hell I ain't. And I grew up strong. Yeah, I grew up throwing a lot of hay. My dad sold hay, and he still sells hay. But I unloaded a lot of semis of hay onto flatbeds. We went and picked up a lot of hay. We'd go up to Colorado to the farms, and back then we just had to, load it by hand. So yeah, I know how to throw some hay. And I did it with a couple of guys. I still cowboy with. Brad, my brother-in-law, and then Todd, which is like, my brother-in-law, our brother. So in high school, I got into rodeoing because some other boys were into it. And back then, man, everybody wanted to ride bulls. So I was like, I'll get on some bulls. And we end up having some. So I pretty much gather up the bulls we'd use to breed and breed the cows and just buck them. And I just go all, I went to high school rodeo, went to some junior rodeos, but I went to a bunch of bull ridings on the reservation, Navajo reservation. They were probably, if you haven't been to a bull ride in Navajo Nation, you have not been to a bull riding. They probably put on some of the best bull ridings there are. And there was some tough competition on the Navajo res. And a lot of good bull riders would go, like, NFR type bull riders. Spud Jones was competing then. Tate Stratton would come out a lot. Dale Brisby, she was there all the time. Yeah, so I loved riding bulls growing up in high school. That's all I wanted to do.
What grade did you start?
I started maybe like in 8th grade. Started doing that in 8th grade. And we'd buck them at the hay, we call it the hay barn, or at my grandma's. Like 3 days a week, we'd take these bulls that were supposed to be breeding cows, and we'd buck them. We made a little pen, me and some friends, and my dad. We just rigged something up and started bucking bulls. And then after high school, I went to, I college rodeoed for a year. And the first rodeo we went to, I won the first rodeo. And then after that, I didn't do so good, I think because, I don't know, probably girls. I started dating Danielle, and she was taking up all of my time. So now we've been married for 17 years, which are super fast. It's hard to believe we've been married 17 years. And she still looks like she did in college. She still looks like a college chick. I think the only reason she dated me because, back then there was a lot of bull riders for some reason. Not so much anymore. The bulls buck too hard now. And yeah, she was, I don't know, infatuated with bull riders. And yeah, you were. She was a real buckle bunny.
I knew no bull riders. I didn't know any bull riders at all. I was not into cowboys at all.
Well, I kept getting hurt that year. I got married and I had a horse fall on me and messed up my shoulder. Yeah, I went to a few pro rodeos. I thought I was gonna, hit it off big in the pro circuit bull riding, but I didn't really. I mean, I did okay. But I got stepped on my arm, broke my arm, and I went to some after that. But then I got the doctor bill, and I was like, holy crap, I can't pay this. And I thought maybe I should just quit. This might be a good place to stop. And I don't think Danielle liked me bull riding because it's so dangerous. So I quit. I quit riding bulls. And I went and worked on the railroad for just a little bit, not very long. And I found out I like doing, cowboy and stuff more. So that didn't last very long. I was a welder on the railroad. So I came back to work for my mom. I just liked cowboying so much that I couldn't just give it up. I decided that's all I wanted to do, was cowboy and ride horses. I've been working on the ranch for my mom for quite a while now. So my dad started raising more horses as I got older, breeding more horses. So of course I started riding more horses and starting younger horses, starting 2-year-olds. Yes, I said 2-year-olds. For all you haters, I don't think you should ride 2-year-olds. Or 3-year-olds. I started 3-year-olds. Yeah, I really kind of started getting more into horsemanship and riding colts. Because my dad, that's what he was doing. He was raising horses. And he taught me that stuff in high school too. He was able to go and ride with Ray Hunt a little bit. My grandpa, he heard about Ray Hunt, and they went and probably watched him a little bit and liked what he did with horses. So my grandpa had put on a few horsemanship clinics, and so my dad learned a little bit. Probably nothing to what I kind of been doing, but they mostly, my grandpa mostly just focused on cattle back then, not so much on horses or their horsemanship when they're riding. That's more like kind of what I've been doing, just because I seen other people move their horse a certain way, or their horses were real handy, and I wanted my horses that I rode to be real handy, to be able to move how I saw other people move their horse, like Ray Hunt, of course, and Buck Brenneman, and just other cowboys that I seen growing up. So I kind of got more into that, just the horsemanship and learning about being a horseman. So yeah, my dad taught me um, pretty much what he knew about horses, and training them and starting them and getting them better. And then I went to a few Buck Brenneman clinics, Les Vogue, Buster McCleary, and then they started coming out with DVDs, of course, and books that you could read about horsemanship. So that's kind of how I started learning to be a little bit better with the horse, and I'm still learning. Yeah, I still try to go to learn from some clinicians or people I think that are pretty good. You can always learn something from somebody, I think. I've been to I guess some clinics that they're not big names. If I said the names, nobody would really even know them. But I still learn something from people. I mean, just like me, if somebody was like said, yeah, I went and rode with Henson Winn. I mean, I'd be like, who's that? And, I mean, but there's still people that can probably learn some stuff from me. Yeah, I went to some barrel racing clinics with Danielle. I still learned some stuff about horsemanship and how I guess they want a horse to move, and how maybe these other people like Ray Hunt and Buck, how they're wanting their horse to move, and how it all just ties together, and how you always want your horse to be soft and light, and be able to move all body parts, I think. So I'm still learning about making a better horse. I still try to make a better horse. I might start more focusing on riding my horses as they get older. I kind of quit riding them as 2 and 3 year olds, and let Danielle ride them, or we sell them, or I just let them go back to their owners. But I might start getting riding more older type horses, more finished horses. So I got into leatherwork because, of course, you see other cowboys with maybe a nice saddle, or something that you like, and when you're younger, you don't have no money, or you just want to spend it all on rodeo. And so I decided I'd just make stuff myself. So that's kind of how I got into it, just because I was cheap, and I thought, I can make it. Or I had an idea about how I can make something better, more about what I like. I mean, kinda, but not really. So I grew up, in high school, rodeoing, and competing a lot. I don't know. I just don't really have the drive to go and compete right now anymore. Maybe I will later. If my sons wanted to go rope or something, I would with them. I'd go compete with them. I'd do it with them, or Danielle. I thought about just going barrel racing with Danielle, but I never practiced, so it's like if I'm gonna do it, I want to be pretty good at it. So if I'm gonna compete in anything, I need to practice and be good at it. So that would be one reason why I don't go and compete on anything, because I don't want to lose. I'd probably be a cook, a chef. Now that was a question I think my 8th grade teacher asked me. In 8th grade, I was asked that, and that's what I said I was gonna be. I was a chef. Danielle cooks good. I ain't gonna lie, she cooks really good. But I like to cook. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't tell. But I mean, I'm not skinny. But yeah, I like to cook and eat,
Connor likes to cook.
and Connor likes to cook. So yeah, I might be a chef, maybe. It's all the hard work you do, man. It's really satisfying, I guess.
Fulfilling?
Yeah. Fulfilling. Yeah, the work you do is fulfilling. Probably riding, punching cows, um, or improving, the ranch. I like doing that too. I like seeing improvements, and that's what we like to do on the ranch is make the ranch better. I've been and worked on other ranches, just day labor, and it's old school. And there's nothing wrong with certain old schoolness, but just the way they ranch in Cowboy, it's old school in a way that maybe they don't have pastures. It's just one big area, or they haven't improved their waters, or just making stuff easier for you as a cowboy. I don't like I like working, but I don't like working too hard. I like making it easy. So I like improving the ranch, making it better. Breeding the horses, making better horses. I think about that, like, how can I make these horses better for just the normal average person? Because I mean, there's not everybody that buys these horses is cowboying. Probably like 1%. I don't know. It's very low. The people that buy these horses are just buying them to either rodeo on, to just trail ride. Most of them don't actually go and cowboy on them. So I think about that. What kind of horse everybody is just nice for everybody, but also for a cowboy horse. And I like training the horses, seeing them improve and make good horses. I like seeing the new calves, watching them grow. Same thing with the herd of cattle, just seeing them be a good herd of cattle. That's one thing too. It's kind of old school. I mean, the people have some nice cattle, but they just handle for crap. They haven't improved on how they handle. I try to improve, how cattle handle, how my horse handles. I like a nice fence. I don't like always working on fence, but I like a nice fence. And cows will tear it up. You're like, man, how can you tear up something? But yeah, I like a good fence. Worrying about water, if if you have a water problem, or if it's really dry. Worrying about having no feed, having maybe have to sell some cows, some skinny cows. I don't worry too much about sick. We don't worry about sick cattle, really. We don't have to worry about that. We're saying about cowboy is not everybody in your family likes it, so you gotta quit having so much fun cowboying and go do some stuff they like doing. Well, I don't think none of my kids are like me. um, they're all really good kids, really good compared to probably what I was. I wasn't so good of a kid. um, yeah, I don't think any of them are like me. But yeah, they're good kids. They're smart. I mean, I wasn't. They do good in school. I never did good in school. That's a hard one too because they don't even like all doing the same thing. Connor likes playing baseball. That's like the only thing he likes to do. But I like doing that. I like going and I guess just supporting my kids or whatever they do. I like going to baseball games with Connor. Brooksy's pretty little. He kind of, I don't know.
Goes with the flow.
Yeah, he just goes. Brooks is a happy kid. Brooks kind of does whatever, and he'll have a good time. So he'll ride horses. They all will come in and ride and work with me. They just don't enjoy it as much as maybe I do. Like Hayden rode for quite a bit when she's little, and then she kind of just stopped doing it. And she rode good. And Connor, he rides good too. He comes out and rides with me and works good. Cowboy's good. He just doesn't like it as much as I do, so Yeah, I like taking my kids to the movies. I like going to a movie in the theater. I like a good theater movie. It's just an experience. And my kids like doing that, so I do that with them. Take them to the movie.
Give them experiences, like maybe.
What else is there to do? I mean, there's nothing that fun to do besides Cowboy. Look, think about all the stuff you could do in Cowboy. You could ride a horse. You can watch your grass grow. If you're into gardening, you can pretty much watch your grass grow. You could build some fence. You could go out mudding if you like mudding, because, you know, gotta go check something. I don't really have any hobbies besides Cowboy. They all have their characteristics that I like, and you can see it in all the horses that are by certain studs. Their characteristics, and I like them all. I think they're pretty much easy to train. And I ride a lot of outside horses too. A lot of horses that are, you know, kind of big named, high dollar breeding. And my dad's horses are, honestly, they're pretty nice to ride. And if they're not, I mean, I tell my dad, I don't ride them. If they're junk, and he'll probably say the same thing. If he has one that we keep to ride and it's just ornery, hard to start, I don't ride it. There's too many good ones. I don't mess with it. Now, I do that for other people that I ride their horses for. I work with that sucker till it's broke. But my own horse, same thing. I had some horses that were my own, and they were a little bit tougher to start. I got rid of them. I pretty much gave them away, sold them for nothing, took them to the sale barn. And people are like, oh, the poor horses at the sale barn. Well, horses at the sale barn is there for a reason. They're usually junk. Sorry to say, but not. Sometimes the cross that you bred just don't work out. So that's why a lot of people keep a certain cross and they'll keep breeding it because they know it's going to work out. Sometimes it doesn't. But I like riding all of them for different reasons. I know I look like I'm 25, but I'm not. I'm almost 40. 39 this year. So yeah, my life's not like full of too much excitement. That's pretty much me.